You're listening to Like and Follow podcast, presented by Milk Digital.
All right, well, welcome to Like and Follow. This is
Thank
Milk
you.
Bar's podcast where we're going to be exploring social media, digital marketing, current trends, news, updates, and sometimes exciting interviews with people like yourself. Today we are joined by Ollie Mann, who is the National Marketing Manager of Sandwich Chefs. In full disclosure, I'll be obviously all about full disclosure here. We're lucky enough to work with the team at Sandwich Chefs as their social media marketing partner. And we've really, I guess I can speak for the whole team when I say we've really enjoyed working with your brand over the past probably like 6 months
Thank
now.
you.
Yeah.
It's good to see how it's evolved. I think.
Yeah, and it really has evolved. We've come a long way, which is what I'm actually really excited to talk about today. I guess getting into the ins and outs of what we've been doing across social media, how your business has been leveraging it, and I know you guys have gone through a lot of change over the past 6 months in terms of branding and bringing, I guess, just moving forward in the digital space. So that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Welcome.
Let's get into it. Cool.
So I guess as an introduction to some of our listeners, do you want to just provide a little bit of context and background on yourself?
Yeah, so I'm from the UK. You can probably hear from my accent, which apparently I don't have anymore
Okay.
to some people, which is a little bit heartbreaking. I actually originally started out doing industrial design, of all things.
That's crazy.
Over 10 years ago. And after 6 months of working in a design studio, I found myself I found that I really enjoyed the marketing aspects of industrial design. There is that psychology of design as part of it. And then since then, I've just worked my way up in marketing from an agency background through to more corporate and then back into agency. And finally now into, I guess, SMEs, small and medium businesses, where I find I really do enjoy working in that space. It's better being a bigger cog in a smaller wheel, as I like to say. I feel like you actually get more results and make more of an impact.
Yes.
So that's a little bit on me.
And so what sort of stuff were you doing with industrial design? What were you actually designing?
I was actually working for a product design marketing agency in Abbotsford. So I finished my degree, came over and got an internship. So I sort of had that exposure to marketing there. And it was some crazy things like a Bud Light hockey alarm that would sit above your TV, and when your team scored a goal, it would go off and release a bud.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So it was very, they also had that marketing focus because it was about trying to sell buds.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
We also did a lot of like amenity packages and stuff for Qantas and Emirates and Etihad and all the major airlines. So the Qantas pajamas, the little amenity kit that you would get, that was all designed there too. Again, it had a marketing focus to try and build a campaign behind the products too.
So it was all very brand led.
Yeah, it wasn't cool. I wasn't like designing cars or anything actually of use. It was
Welcome to marketing.
Yeah, exactly, pretty much. Yeah. And I just loved that whole. I love the creative thinking behind it, but I really enjoyed that marketing element, and that's my real first taste in a fun environment. And that made me switch straight over. I did do a marketing minor at university as well, so I had some sort of knowledge, but as you know, marketing changes every week, so it's sort of a foundation that's been built upon over the years.
Okay, cool. And so how did you end up at Sandwich Chefs?
I actually met the CEO for a meeting, so as always, saw job advertised online, thought I'd check it out, walked in, met the CEO, and he was just so inspiring and super cool, and his head's going to inflate if he listens to this, but that actually was probably the biggest reason why I actually decided to work for Sandwich Chef. So I was looking around at the time, but it was a brand which was going through such a transition. It was a heavy brand element to it that needed to be revisited, and essentially I had the opportunity to tear up the marketing department and rebuild it to make it functional based on the experience that I had. So I used to work for a really cool company called FunLab, which had
I hear they have a slide in their office.
They had a slide in their office, which I do miss. But no, so many great minds in that place, and sort of tried to apply the same sort of philosophy to sandwich chefs, and I saw an opportunity there to really grow a brand. And so far it's been pretty successful. So we've rebuilt the marketing department, and already we're starting to see a growth in sales, which is exactly what the business wanted. And again, it's about being that big cog, I guess, in a small wheel.
Actually having some impact.
Yeah, and the CEO, he's so experienced in the industry and pretty much full autonomy. Let's see what you can do. It's been a great 12 months so far.
And I guess to step back for 1 second, if there are any listeners who don't actually know what Sandwich Chefs is, maybe we should provide some context of what the business is.
Yes, sure. Yes. So Sandwich Chefs is what they call a QSR. So it's a quick service restaurant. Comparison to probably the easiest way to view it would be if you took Subway and made it premium. It's that sort of food court space. But the old version of Sandwich Chefs, the pre-transition, was quite dated, and it left a poor perception of quality of product in a way, just based on the presentation of the store.
Yep.
The brand, it wasn't consistent. And given the way food trends are today, everything has to be premium and with convenience. So Sandwich Chefs has gone through a huge brand transition, not just with the marketing, but the actual store design, the store builds, look and feel of the brand, all the different channels that we're now on, whereas previously we're quite traditional. So Sandwich Chefs, if you think of I don't like to say Subway because it's not.
Yeah.
We're our own entity. But probably the easiest reference would be to think of those, your Grills, your Schnitz, Subway, those type of food retailers.
Yep.
But we basically focus on making a premium product.
Yeah. And the stores are looking really beautiful.
They are, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the National Operations Manager is working pretty hard on ensuring that those designs are met and are strictly followed. So they're looking great.
They are. And so obviously social media marketing has been a component of many in the transition that you guys have been going through. I guess, do you want to talk us through a bit about that?
Yeah, so previously we were very, very traditional. So like print media was basically 90% of what the business did. So social media for us is essentially our brand personality. It's a vital platform to be on. I think everybody knows that. And we've really been using social media to drive that brand engagement, drive awareness of the brand. And it's ROI is probably the most important aspect of it. So previously, with any type of print media, it's very hard to know what the conversion was or how successful something is.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's expensive.
Super expensive. Yeah, I won't get into the prices of some of the things that we've been quoted, but it's always good when a distressed piece of media comes along, and it seems to happen more often than not now. But the social media aspects of marketing are incredible. It enables us to have more transparency of exactly what we're doing, where we can see the conversion, where we can see the audience. It also enables us to reach a completely different audience.
Yeah. So do you feel like you've been reaching new audiences since you started on social?
Yeah,
or are you just
definitely.
trying to reach your existing audiences on a new platform?
We've tried a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think we look at our product and typically we attract somebody with a little bit more disposable income for lunch. So we're sort of that $15 plus price bracket, which means that the millennial consumer maybe not so much. But social media's enabled us to reach those consumers, and I think one of the biggest things that social media has allowed us to do is remove age demographics from our audience and take an attitudinal approach, which I believe marketing should be. So you might find the 18-year-old that's really keen on investing their money into stocks, and you can also find that in a 50-year-old. So social media has allowed us to have those conversations with millennials and
kind of removes assumptions, doesn't it?
Completely, yeah. And and our branding's pretty versatile. Our campaigns are quite versatile. So, right now, we're working on the awesome New York campaign.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to win a trip to New York? You
Exactly.
don't have to be.
You don't have to fit your brand's assumption of what your target market is necessarily.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we really utilised it for. And it was a little bit of a sticky point at the beginning, trying to convince the older stakeholders, but they can now see the benefits, and I get more compliments now every week.
I think it's helpful when you can actually show measurable results.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah,
definitely easier to get buy-in.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, cool. And so are there any sorts of social media content that you guys are finding is working best for you?
We love video. It's
Yeah.
so cool. I think the brand's always been quite static. It's
Yeah.
been very photo heavy, and video just enables you to say, to tell so much. And we offer quite a lot. So, although we are sandwich chefs and predominantly sandwiches, we have 14-hour slow roasted carvery meats that are made on site, and to really convey that in an image doesn't really do it justice. Whereas the video content that we produce is great. It's really good. It's really engaging. You can see everything about the product, the slow-mo shots to sort of increase the perception of quality. We love the video stuff and the GIFs. And now we're sort of taking the reins off a little bit to have a little bit of fun. So I think that's another aspect that we're enjoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think the great thing about video is not only is it more engaging, but it also obviously reaches more people through Facebook's algorithm and preferences.
The magic algorithm.
Yeah. The elusive algorithm.
Yeah.
And do you have any specific, so that's, I guess, content format.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any types of themes that you're seeing are working well for the business?
Anything when we are, I guess, giving something away.
People love a freebie.
Very well. I guess in terms of a theming, so part of our strategy is to sort of tie into certain events around the year. So that's kind of fun. We're now starting to experiment a little bit around, we had Christmas in July, which was amazing, and sort of trying to tie into pop culture. So I think that's what we want to start doing a little bit more of, to be a little bit more relevant. We had a great little Fire Festival post when the Netflix documentary came out about the cheese sandwich, which was really well received.
Yeah.
And those little kind of those little moments that I think implant our brand in people's minds.
Not necessarily about creating a new dialogue, but just sort of participating in one that's happening on the internet.
Yeah, and it's shareable, and I think that's the goal really, is to, although we have paid advertising that goes out to a direct target market, we want that to be shared, reposted, and the more we can join in with that, the better.
I guess it comes down to looking at our own behaviours on social sometimes. It's like, what would I actually respond to or engage with or want to share with my friends?
Yeah, definitely.
Just a lot of common sense.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. And I'm not sure if you wanted to touch on this one, so we can totally skip through if you want to. But I was going to ask, how do your other stakeholders find social media?
Oh, yeah. So I'll be completely honest. At the start, it was a very hard sell.
And I think that's something that a lot of our listeners could relate to.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, obviously I report directly to the CEO, and he has to report directly to our directors and the board. So a lot of it was education. And it comes back to the fact that numbers don't lie. So being able to, I think once we'd opened a few new stores and we'd had a few campaigns, being able to say, we paid X dollar spends to get this level of engagement, and so many people saw it. Having that transparency really settled their minds, and they won't mind me saying this, but they are accountants. So they're very dollar driven. So when I'm coming up with campaigns and we want to spend X, not being able to tell them what they were going to get from that was a bigger problem. Whereas with social media, being able to say, we expect to grow our database by 20%.
Actually having KPIs,
Yeah, exactly. And that's and being able to measure it. I was pretty honest and upfront, and trusted in myself, trusted in the team, trusted in Milk Bar to deliver, and everybody did. So now the conversations turned from being a little bit of a sticky point to now, routinely one of our directors will come in and compliment the work that we're doing, and his younger generation of his family will see stuff online and always give good positive feedback. Their checks are in the mail. So it's good. It's we've now I think the re-education process was probably the most important thing. Yeah, definitely.
So that would probably be your advice to anyone else struggling with this, it's patience and education.
Patience and education and numbers, and eventually you'll have a win. You lose some, but eventually you have one of those wins, which really helps justify marketing spend. We spend all of our time justifying our own existence.
We do, yeah.
We're pretty good at that.
Yes. Okay, great. So I'd love to find out from your perspective, what other brands or businesses do you think are doing an awesome or inspirational job with their social media marketing?
I think brands use it in completely different ways.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, in the early days, it felt like there was only one way to use social media. Now there's stories, there's different types of posts, there's dark posting, there's all this very clever, intelligent ways to use social media. I find I like Airbnb. I know that's a huge business to talk about, and they've got endless money to spend on it. But I find their remarketing just so clever, and it's almost borderline scary. So if I search for something on an app, it's then remarketed to me on Facebook, and then I get an email about the same thing I've looked at.
Right.
And then I go and book a 3-bed apartment in Seville.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
but you're there. Next thing you know.
I'm there. So I think businesses like that sort of lead. They sort of pioneer the way to use social media and digital marketing, and I wish the day that we could do something like that.
So really about that multi touch point, I suppose,
Definitely.
experience for the customer.
Yeah. And it's, I think social media's changed from being a sales tool, and it's more conversational now. And conversational marketing is important. People don't want to be told to buy something; they want to be, I guess, coerced into buying it. And so it's multiple touch points and
being at the right touch point at the right time for the customer.
Yeah, I'd say definitely. But conversational marketing is incredible, and I think Airbnb do such a good job of it.
Yeah.
Another brand I could talk about within our space would probably be Grilled, who really utilise social media to drive their image.
Yeah.
And they don't use it just to drive product; they use it to drive their beliefs as well. So I think they've got their meat-free Mondays or something now, which I think every vegan and vegetarian on the planet is just jumping up and down about. So I think they're quite clever the way they do things.
It's a great opportunity, I suppose, to talk more than just about your product, but about your brand and your brand values, what your business represents, and also the goodwill that you're doing in the community. I really like how Grilled do so much educational stuff and talk about all of the community projects they're part of.
And I mean, we always look at our competitors, so we have to.
Of course.
Not to copy or do anything like that, but just to sort of draw inspiration upon and look at things that they may have missed. And how we can then do it better. Definitely. Yeah.
I guess what I'd love to hear is we've talked a bit about the highlights and the wins. Have you had any key learnings that you found along the way that you could share with us?
I think it comes back to the fact that social media is a way to target different audiences. That's probably the biggest learning that I've had. Often you get stuck into that bubble of talking about your target audience. Reality is that it enables us to talk to different audiences, different times of day. And that's the key learnings. I think the other thing as well I'd say is to get an expert involved. So marketers get stretched pretty thin. Every time there's a new piece of technology, I get an email from the CEO about why we're not doing it. So I think I would say key learnings are to speak to somebody who has skills and expertise, which is exactly what we did. That's a learning process for us as well in our team. And then also relaxing a little bit on being so focused on targeting an age group and start looking at attitudes of people and split testing and trying to work out exactly who your audience is on social media. Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing about digital in general is that you can do so much, what I guess you call it dark posting or off-page posting. So you really can be communicating very personalized messages to different target audiences and constantly testing and experimenting and trialing what's working and what's not. Okay, awesome. That's really good advice. So I guess you've sort of talked a little bit about this already, but for the brands that do come from a very traditional marketing background, you've been there, you've done that now. What recommendations do you have? Any other ones for making the leap across to actually really utilising social?
Pick up the phone and call Milk Bar Digital.
Nice.
I didn't get paid for that, no. I think it just really comes back to speaking to somebody in the industry. I'll put my hand up and admit there are things I don't know about. I think everybody in their job, some aspects of their job, they're just like, I'm not too sure what to do.
And this is a conversation way bigger than just social media.
Yeah. And I think that there's so many agencies out there and so many businesses, so many consultants that can actually come in and just have a chat and sort of align with your goals. And I think that's it. I think we've been very clear with what we wanted to achieve with social media. And I think that after 12 months, well, close to 12 months of working with you, we're well above and well past I thought we would ever be. So, and it's growing. So
I think from an agency perspective as well, having clear goals and objectives in place from day one makes such a big difference.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think people just need to be more honest. So my advice would be honest about your skill set, work on what you are good at, focus on what you are good at, and outsource the things that you're not so good at.
Excellent
to
advice.
build a, I guess, a holistic view on your marketing strategy. That's probably that's what we've done. So there's certain aspects which, my team's really capable of and really good at, but there are aspects where we've got to learn and improve. So yeah, we just admit that we could be better in certain areas, or we could speak to the experts and have an expert do it. And you know what, it works. It works. It really does.
And so on that, I guess this question is sort of in two sections. First of all, what do you think's next in terms of social media marketing or digital marketing? Maybe we'll start with that. Are there any trends or key technologies that you think are going to be kind of...
Yeah, well, we've seen a
to
huge
watch?
shift into online ordering. So the integration between social media and ordering online. Some brands are well ahead of us in that regard. So I think it might be Pizza Hut, where you can actually order your pizza through Facebook Messenger.
Yes.
So there's now going to be this kind of merge of social media is going to not just be, I guess, a social tool, it's now going to be a sales tool. We're exploring how we can integrate our menu into our Facebook page and make the ordering process really simple. So that's probably where I see the future for our industry and social media going.
Yeah.
And there are so many more brands and businesses coming out that are focused on delivery and food ordering, and I think we just have to move with the times and
all about that convenience factor.
Yeah, it really is. It's difficult because we have to deliver a premium product for convenience. That's what everybody wants, and for free.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a very difficult industry, and the margins aren't massive in food. So we have to not only work on I guess spending money in marketing to drive our business, but we look at ways to save money by improving our return on investment. So again, that's what social media has really enabled us to do, to be able to reduce the dollar spend in some areas of our marketing mix, which were not as impactful as what social media has actually been for us. And we've got a lot of work to do with our digital strategy, but if we look at, if I look back on previous P&Ls, I can quite easily see that there's been a direct shift in where we spend our dollars now. Yeah.
Cool. And so I guess that answers what was my second question? Was going to be, what's next for Sandwich Chefs?
What's next for Sandwich Chefs? I guess we're continuing to grow our business. So, the changes we've made in regards to operations, in regards to our marketing, has led to a growth in sales, which is super positive given the current retail environment. It's been a lot of hard work. The re-education process is starting to pay off. So our franchisees and our network, they're buying into the vision that we all have. And I think in regards to the brand where we're going, we're actually changing our business model slightly. So I'm not sure. No, I can say it. We're
Are you sure?
I'll apologise later. It's fine. So we're actually going into petrol stations. So we've got our first petrol station opening. Well, we're not opening petrol stations, but we've got our first store going into a petrol station in Perth in next month.
That's very exciting.
So very, very exciting. So that's what's a future for us. So it's not relying on the food court customer so much.
Yep.
Starting to look at where we can diversify our business model, and that whether that be just in petrol stations, but also drive-throughs in the future. Who knows?
Yeah.
Drone deliveries would be cool if we could do it.
We'll start working on that.
But yeah, that's definitely where we're going with our business, and also online ordering. That's I think if you're not on that now, and the business previously really wasn't. So
that's where it's at.
Yeah, we're partnering with third-party delivery apps, which have been great. And then we're starting to kind of focus on developing our own ordering system and then integrating that on various different platforms. So yeah, I think that's where we're heading. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like a very exciting and busy time ahead for
definitely.
Sandwich Chefs.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
And I'm going on holiday for 4 weeks. So.
Yeah, I'm going away too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, great.
Yeah, so
Perfect timing.
there'll be no one here steering the ship for
So
either
hopefully
businesses.
when we come back in a
Yeah.
month's time, everything's
still have
still
jobs.
fine.
Yeah.
We still have jobs. That's the plan. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ollie, for joining us today. And I guess thank you to everybody for listening to this episode of Like and Follow, the Milk Bar Digital podcast. And if you're looking for help with your social media marketing channels, you know where to find us. You can follow us on Instagram at Milk Bar Digital or on Facebook, or you can email me directly. I am at hello@milkbardigital.com.au. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to the Like and Follow podcast presented by Milk Bar Digital.